Golden FM 97.5.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the Golden Sunrise National and World News. In the headlines, federal government denies claims of religious persecution in Nigeria. Senate moves to ban child soldiers as Armed Forces Bill passes second reading. Reps order suspension of 2026 wire computer-based exams. NAFDAC destroys 20 billion naira substandard expired products in Oyo. Governor Diri presents 998 billion naira 2026 budget, prioritizes works, education. On the foreign scene, U.S. calls for international action to cut weapons supply to Sudan paramilitaries. Details coming up shortly. I am Moya Stiving. Now the details. The Senate has moved to outlaw the recruitment of persons under the age of 18 into the military as it passed the Armed Forces Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2025 for second reading. The provision, which prohibits the enlistment of minors, aligns Nigeria's military practices with the Child Rights Act 2003, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, and the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. The bill, sponsored by Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, seeks to repeal the existing Armed Forces Act 2004, replacing it with a constitutionally compliant and operationally responsive law. Leading the debate on the floor of the Senate, Senator Yaradua said the reform was long overdue, underscoring that the current legislation, originally derived from a military decree, no longer meets the demands of modern governance, democratic accountability, or evolving security realities. The proposed legislation introduces sweeping reforms, including expanding the definition of military offenses, introducing proportionate punishments, and protecting the independence of courts-martial by criminalizing interference from superior officers, a safeguard against abuse of power. The legislation has been referred to the Senate Joint Committee on Army, Navy, and Air Force to report in 4 weeks. The House of Representatives has ordered the Federal Ministry of Education and the West African Examinations Council (WAEC) to suspend the planned introduction of computer-based testing (CBT) for the 2026 examination cycle. The lawmakers also called on the ministry, in collaboration with state governments, to include provisions in the 2026 to 2029 budgets for the recruitment of computer teachers, the construction of computer halls with internet access, the provision of standby generators, and assessing schools' readiness ahead of a gradual rollout in 2030. The resolution followed a motion of urging public importance sponsored by Honorable Kelechi Wogo, titled Need for Intervention to Avert the Pending Massive Failure of Candidates Intending to Sit for the 2026 WAEC examination using computer-based testing, CBT, during Thursday's plenary. Honorable Wogo argued that most schools, particularly in rural areas where over 70% of students are located, lack the infrastructure and capacity to conduct CBT examinations successfully. He warned that a rushed implementation could lead to mass failure, depression, and other adverse outcomes among students. The House further mandated its committees on basic examination bodies, digital and information technology, basic education and services, and labor, employment, and productivity to engage relevant stakeholders and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. The federal government has dismissed claims that Nigeria violates religious freedom, describing them as false and damaging to the country's image. Mr. Muhammad Idris, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, who stated this while speaking at the 5th National Advertising Conference held on Thursday in Abuja, said such claims distort the reality of Nigeria's diversity. The minister said that while Nigeria faces security challenges, the problems are not religiously motivated. Mr. Idris told participants that the present administration is investing in security and reorganizing its structures to combat terrorism. The conference, organized by the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, had as its theme Marketing Communication, Transforming Business and Creating Growth in Challenging Times. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Southwest Zone, on Thursday began the destruction of unwholesome and substandard products worth over 20 billion naira in Ibadan, or your state capital. The destruction took place at the Monia dump site in Ibadan. Speaking during the exercise, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, the Director General of NAFDAC, said the exercise was aimed at preventing such dangerous products from re-entering the market and causing harm. Professor Adeyeye was represented by Mrs. Florence Uba, the agency's Deputy Director, Pharmaceutical Division, Investigation and Enforcement, Apapa, Lagos. She said the products being destroyed included substandard and falsified medical products, unwholesome processed foods, and additives, unsafe cosmetics, and other expired items. She added that the agency seized the products from manufacturers, importers, and distributors. She said the products being destroyed included substandard and falsified medical products, unwholesome processed foods and additives, unsafe cosmetics, and other expired items. She urged community leaders, health professionals, religious figures, and journalists to educate the public on the dangers of prioritizing unlicensed drug sellers and unregistered pharmaceutical outlets. NAFDAC also called for public participation in the fight against substandard products and urged Nigerians to report suspicious drug activities to help protect lives and strengthen the nation's regulatory system. She expressed gratitude to all the security agencies and other stakeholders for supporting NAFDAC's mission. Now you're listening to the Sunrise News on 97.5 Golden FM Yenagoa. Still to come, more news. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. You are still listening to the Sunrise News on 97.5 Golden FM. And now for the rest of the bulletin. Governor Doye Diri on Thursday presented a total budget proposal of 998.37 billion naira for the 2026 fiscal year to the State House of Assembly in Yenagoa, with a strong focus on infrastructure, education, and human capital development. Tagged Assured Prosperity 2, the proposed 2026 appropriation bill continues the administration's vision of sustainable growth and economic diversification. The budget comprises 645.26 billion naira, 64.6% for capital expenditure, and 353.11 billion naira, 35.4% for recurrent expenditure, signaling a heavy investment in developmental projects across the state. Governor Diri explained that the 2026 budget would consolidate ongoing efforts to transform the state through road expansion, educational upgrades, and social welfare programs. He disclosed that the Ministry of Works received the highest allocation of 298.68 billion naira, while education followed with 75.18 billion naira, underscoring his administration's commitment to infrastructure and learning advancement. He said the Assured Prosperity 2 budget aligns with the state's medium-term fiscal framework and aims to sustain economic resilience, create jobs, and enhance public service delivery. According to him, the 2026 budget would also focus on critical sectors such as health, agriculture, and youth empowerment, in addition to ongoing road and bridge projects across the 8 local government areas. He urged the lawmakers to expedite consideration and passage of the appropriation bill to enable timely implementation of developmental projects in the coming year. Responding, Right Honorable Abraham Ngobere, the Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, commended Governor Diri for his transparent and people-oriented fiscal policies. He praised the administration's achievements in infrastructure, education, and rural development, describing them as visible outcomes of the government of Assured Prosperity. Right Honorable Ngobere assured that the House would give the budget accelerated consideration to ensure continuity of ongoing projects and prompt delivery of new initiatives that will further improve the welfare of Bayelsans. Correspondent Isaac Ayedode reports that the 2026 Assured Prosperity 2 budget builds on the gains of previous fiscal years and reaffirms the Governor Diri administration's drive towards inclusive development, fiscal discipline, and accountable governance. The management of Architectronics Limited, one of Nigeria's leading construction companies, extends warm congratulations to Dr. Gentle Miller, the Commissioner for Education, on receiving the prestigious Best Commissioner Award. The award, bestowed by the organizers of the National Leadership Awards held in Abuja, is a testament to Dr. Miller's outstanding contributions to the development of education in Bayelsa State. A statement signed by Mr. Lemi Appa on behalf of the management of Architectronics Limited commends Dr. Miller for his tireless efforts in uplifting the face of education in line with Governor Doye Diri's miracle educational reforms in the state, and believes that the award is a well-deserved recognition of his dedication and commitment to excellence. The management said it was thrilled to hear about his well-deserved recognition, a pointer to his exceptional leadership and contributions to the education sector in Bayelsa State. The leading construction company added that his vision, passion, and unwavering commitment to improving the education system in Bayelsa State have yielded remarkable results, adding that they are proud to see him receive this prestigious award. Architectronics Limited also praised Dr. Mela's efforts in promoting quality education and his dedication to the people of Bayelsa State. While the company also uses this medium to celebrate Dr. Gentle Mela on the occasion of his 69th birthday, the company wishes him continued success in his endeavors and looks forward to his continued contributions to the development of the state. And let's move on to the foreign scene, where Mr. Marco Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State, has called for international action to cut out the supply of weapons to Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, who are accused of mass killings in El Fasher. At the end of a G7 foreign ministers meeting in Canada, Mr. Rubio said the RSF had committed systematic atrocities, including murder, rape, and sexual violence against civilians. Sudan's army accuses the United Arab Emirates of propping up the RSF with weapons and machineries sent via African nations. The UAE has repeatedly denied these allegations. The RSF has been fighting the Sudanese army since April 2023, when a power struggle between their leaders erupted into all-out civil war. Mr. Rubio's comments are some of the most outspoken so far by the President Trump administration about the war in Sudan and the actions of the RSF, but it is not clear how much impact they will have. And finally, in sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria yesterday brightened their chance to qualify for the 2026 World Cup by thrashing Panthers of Gabon by 4-1 in a crucial 2026 World Cup playoff semifinal at Stade Mohamed V, Rabat, Morocco. Akko Adams opened the goals route for Nigeria before Lemina equalized for Gabon, while Chidera Ejuke scored the second goal and Victor Osimhen scored the third and fourth goals for Nigeria. With the win, Nigeria has progressed into Sunday's playoff final. That's the Sunrise News from 97.5 Goldie FM Yenagoa. But before we go, here's a recap of our major stories. Federal government has denied claims of religious persecution in Nigeria. Senate has moved to ban child soldiers as Armed Forces Bill passes second reading. Reps has ordered suspension of 2026 WAEC computer-based exams. NAFDAC has destroyed 20 billion naira substandard and expired products in Oyo. Governor Doye Diri has presented 998 billion naira 2026 budget, prioritizes works and education. On the foreign scene, U.S. has called for international action to cut weapons supply to Sudan paramilitaries. That was the Sunrise News. For news stories, comments, and observations, please send us an email at goldingfmyenagoa@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok on 97.5 Golding FM Yenagoa. The news was edited by Isaac Iyedode. I am Moye Stiving. Good morning, and thanks for listening.
Golden FM 97.5.